Have you ever felt pride swell in your chest, only to have it crushed in an instant? That's exactly what happened to me. And what I'm about to share will stay with you forever. My son had just started his first job. He called me that morning, his voice trembling with excitement. "Mom," he said, "I did it. My first day." I could hear the pride, the hope, the sheer joy in his words. I smiled, my heart swelling. Little did I know, hours later, I would see that joy being ripped away right before my eyes. I decided to surprise him. I baked his favorite cookies, thinking a small gesture could make his first day even more special. But what I found when I arrived shook me to my core. There he was, in a dimly lit back corridor, mopping floors, and standing over him, laughing, mocking. His father-in-law called him an idiot. My daughter-in-law smirked, arms crossed, watching him bend low, head down, dignity slipping away with every sweep of the mop. I didn't yell. I didn't confront them. I didn't cry. I just watched, because in that moment, I realized something important. You don't always need to fight loud to win. Sometimes, the quietest voice carries the most weight. My son glanced up, his eyes a mix of embarrassment, shame, and confusion. I gave him a small smile, the kind that says, "I see you. I believe in you." Then I stepped outside and made a single, phonecall.com/precise, intentional. One call that would change everything. Hours passed, and slowly, the shift began. People who had remained silent for too long finally spoke. HR started an internal review, and the laughter, the mocking that had echoed through that corridor, began to lose its power. Because here's the truth. Cruelty thrives in silence. But when evidence, witnesses, and patience meet strategy, even the loudest bullies have no ground to stand on. Have you ever noticed how some people mistake arrogance and cruelty for leadership? This company had allowed it, but in just one day, the narrative changed. My son, who had been humiliated, was recognized for his hard work. The very people who mocked him began facing the consequences of their actions. And my son, he started to stand taller, with pride, with confidence, and with dignity restored. That evening, I sat with him. His hands were shaking not from anger, but from the relief and disbelief of what had happened. "Mom," he whispered, "I didn't know what to do. I felt powerless." I held his shoulder and said, "You were never powerless. Sometimes, the quietest support makes the loudest difference. Today, you learned that dignity is never optional." This story isn't about revenge. There were no public confrontations, no shouting matches. It's about quiet strategy, patience, and unwavering belief that truth surfaces in time. Have you ever been belittled at work, sidelined by someone who thought they could humiliate you because of their position? Here's the lesson. You don't always need to fight with volume. Some of the strongest moves are silent, deliberate, and precise. By the end of that day, my son wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. His work was recognized, his confidence returned, and those who tried to diminish him, they learned an important lesson. Cruelty can't hide forever. And dignity, once restored, commands attention. If this story resonated with you, I want to hear from you. Share a moment when quiet determination, patience, or strategy changed your life. Tell me where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next story will remind you, courage isn't always loud, respect isn't optional, and sometimes the strongest voice is the one that speaks softly but carries power beyond measure.